Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Fox Ridge Philately, episode 10. It is Tuesday, October 22nd. And the last episode I talked about heading to the stamp show in the city, about an hour and 15 minutes or so from here. The Nova Scotia Stamp Club sponsors that and puts that on a couple times a year, 3 or 4 times a year. So I went with a couple of things in mind to put some things in the auction, as well as to see if there are some items that perhaps a dealer was interested in. And of course, to come back with some things crossed off of my want list, which I did. So all of that was successful. And then, of course, other things that weren't on my want list that I picked up just out of interest. So if you're wondering what I had in the auction or what I was looking to possibly get rid of, you can go back to the previous episode. And the items I put in for the auction, I was generally happy with the price. Of course, you'd always like to get up a little bit higher, but I was quite successful in that, really. And for the first time, I came back with fewer things than I went in with, and I came back with more money in my pocket than I went in with. So in a sense, it was quite successful. And I was also able to add to my Iceland collection. These are recent items in Iceland, all never hinged mint, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, they're all mint, never hinged. Trying to get more of the recent issues. Some of the older ones I still need to, of course, fill in some holes, but I may have to look online or go to some other dealers for that, perhaps, too. And yeah, of course, it adds up fairly quickly. Even this little stack added up pretty quickly because Iceland stamps, like a lot of Scandinavian stamps, can be fairly pricey. I'll just quickly show you what I picked up to add to my Iceland collection. I'll move the sheets for now. Just zip through some of these. You can see the Scott catalog numbers and what they're listed at for selling price. And as I'm sure most dealers are like this as well, once you have your items kind of collected together, they add up a total and then negotiate a little bit from there. So the total price was less than what these are all advertised for. And these two look like the same, but they're not. You can see the whales are different here. The Scott catalog numbers are different and the values are different too. So it'd be nice to fill some of those holes. And I'm just fairly quickly going through these just to give you a sense. Some nice mushrooms. Did a little bit of brief research on a few of these just because I was curious about them. I actually quite like this design of designed items. It's kind of a nice one too. It's coming in out of focus here a little bit. Modern furniture design, just on its side there. I think that's a really nicely designed stamp. A couple of gardens here, one in Reykjavik and one in Akureyri. Akureyri's in the northern portion of Iceland. And then a few of these in here. Excuse me for a moment. And then the souvenir sheets as well. Then I needed to fill in some holes. See, 1986. That's I think, yeah, that's a Czechoslovakia engraved. Nice kind of aerial shot of Reykjavik. Quite like this one. And part of it's supposed to change color when it's exposed to heat. I haven't tried that. And a few of the other souvenir sheets. Funny, this one I keep seeing, I always thought I had it, but it's a joint issue with the Faroe Islands, excuse me, and with Ireland. So I think I have the Faroe Islands and Ireland ones, but now I have that one to add to. I'm just going to set these down. I'm trying to be careful with my hands. Jan Sigurdsson, leader of the independence movement in the mid-1800s. I really like this one as well. Husavik. Husavik is in the north. We spent a bit of time in Husavik over a couple of days. Known for its whaling. It's the whaling capital of Iceland. It may even be called the whaling capital of the world. Pretty town, and just outside the town was geothermal hot springs that we visited and bathed in for a while, with the fjord and the mountains across the other side of the fjords in the background. And then there was even a whale that had surfaced when we were there. It was pretty surreal. Again, another one I thought that I had, but nope. Celebration of the Vikings in the year 1000. Quite a colorful sheet here, and this was in recognition of or celebration of the World Handball Championships. Handball's big in a number of European countries, and without Googling it necessarily, I'm guessing that Iceland had hosted the World Handball Championships in 1995. So I have those souvenir sheets to add. So that's what I added to my Iceland collection. And then I picked up a number of covers as well out of interest, more than anything else. A couple here from Western Samoa. They're similar. This one I was really happy to find. I think it's pretty cool. I always kind of wanted a Tin Can Mail cover or something to do with Tin Can Mail. And you may be familiar with Tin Can Mail. You say this is Tonga 1938. Oh, I'm not going to try to pronounce the island because I will not pronounce it correctly. But Tin Can Mail was done for many years in South Pacific and Tongan Island, and this one said especially this one, because ships could not dock because of the steep cliff sides of the island. So they would literally have the mail in large tin cans, throw it overboard, and swimmers would swim out up to a mile to pick it up and bring it into the island. And that continued, I think, until 1931, and then Tin Can Mail was continued. You can see this is 1938 on that cover, but you could only do it by canoe by then because, unsurprisingly perhaps, one of the swimmers was killed by a shark. Shocking. In South Pacific, there were sharks swimming there while there were swimmers out collecting the mail. So from then on, it was by canoe, and it became quite a tourist attraction and quite an item of interest. So tourist boats or cruise ships would throw these overboard, and they would enjoy watching the locals come out and pick up the mail in the tin cans. And I seem to have picked up an interest in South Pacific. All kinds of rabbit holes in this hobby of ours, eh? And the latest issue of the Cardophilatelist, I belong to the Cardophilatelic Society, had a really nice article on the Pitcairn Islands and around Captain Cook and so on. So I saw these here, and those other covers were like $6 and $8 a piece. These ones were $1 a piece, so they fit in with my maps on stamps, Cardophilately collection, but also just the historical aspect of the stories that they tell. So I picked up a bunch of these from Norfolk Island. First day of covers, and I do pick away if I see something of interest as horses on stamps, so I grab that one too. And then back to the Norfolk Island. These are obviously in no particular order, just fun. More James Cook stuff. See if I can get that to zoom in here a little bit. There you go. And I've got a couple more from Norfolk Island, I believe. Kind of funky shaped stamps there, 1975, 150th anniversary of the second settlement of Norfolk Island. Penrhyn Island and the ships Penrhyn Island. New Zealand, Philatelic Bureau, but you see here bicentenary issue of Captain James Cook. And this was in the dollar pile, so I didn't pay $6.50 for it. Maps of Singapore. I just thought they're really nice designs, and yeah, fits in with my maps and stamps. Topical collection. And Christmas Islands. Captain Cook also visited into the South Indian Ocean. And these are just kind of cool covers for $1 each. And I'd learned last week when I was doing a little bit of reading in the, I think it was in that same journal issue, on the, yeah, quite sure it was, on the Southern Indian Oceans. Maybe it was even the research I was doing with some of the stamps from a couple episodes ago, that the phosphate industry is very large in Christmas Island. So these stamps tell the whole story of the phosphate industry on Christmas Island. So check it out sometime. Look it up. And covers with maps on them. Sure, why not, eh? And famous people, explorers that had visited Christmas Island. Christmas Island was discovered on Christmas Day. I say discovered. Of course, it was known by many before that. Discovered by British. And these just were of interest to me as well. Barbados Abolition of the Slave Trade Act in 1807. So commemoration. Quite nice covers, really. So slave trading became illegal in the British Commonwealth at that point. It was still legal in some parts of the world. All right, so those are quickly just the covers and stamps I picked up. And then a philatelic friend of mine had given me this, which just looked like a lot of fun. It's a bit of a dated book, but I really don't care. I said, oh, geez, I'd love to have that. She already had a copy and was looking to find a home for a second one. And yeah, you could Google the stuff and check out what they all are. But as you see it, I'm just quickly flipping through, has maps of all of these different unique places, gives a little bit of history on them, and the geography, which is all stuff that I really enjoy. So I'll have fun flipping through that. So thank you to Julie. And then another philatelic friend had set aside some South American things for me. So just put them here in the envelope. So I'll poke through those. Some Brazil and Paraguay and Chile and a bit of Colombia in there too. So lots of fun. It was a great day, very successful. I had a nice chat with some philatelic friends, as well as the president of the Nova Scotia Stamp Club for a few minutes. So I will find homes for each of these and put the Iceland ones in my albums and put the covers hopefully in some protective sheets. I did pick up some 2-sleeve Vario sheets, and I'll stick them in there perhaps too. So hoping you're having fun with your stamps as always, and keep at it. Chat to you soon. Take good care.